Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to speak on three powerful words: freedom, justice, and resilience. These words are not mere ideals, they are the lifeblood of every society that dares to rise, to fight, and to dream of a better tomorrow. Freedom is the soul of our humanity. It is the right to think, to speak, to live without fear. It is the choice to be who we are, to pursue happiness, and to challenge the systems that seek to silence us. But freedom is never freely given, it is claimed, protected, and passed on. Justice is the balance we seek. It is the moral compass of a nation and the shield of the vulnerable. Without justice, freedom becomes fragile. Justice ensures that every voice matters, every wrongdoing is confronted, and that power is held accountable. And resilience is the fire within us that refuses to be extinguished. It is the strength to rise after we fall, to keep going when the world seems against us. Resilience fuels the fight for freedom and the demand for justice. It lives in the hearts of those who refuse to give up, even when the odds are steep. When these three forces come together, they become unstoppable. History has shown us this through civil rights movements, through revolutions, through the silent strength of people rising up not just once, but again and again. That freedom is not simply a privilege or a right, it is the essence of our humanity. It is the core of what makes us who we are, distinct and unique from any other living being. To be free means we can choose the course of our lives, express our thoughts without fear, and pursue our dreams with hope. It is the very foundation upon which societies build their identities and futures. But freedom, in its truest form, is not an abstract concept. It is a tangible force, one that we must actively preserve and defend. It is something that requires constant vigilance, courage, and the willingness to fight for it, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. History has shown us time and time again that freedom is not always guaranteed. It is fragile and it is easily taken for granted. The freedom we enjoy today was fought for by countless individuals who believed in a world where tyranny and oppression would no longer have a hold on the lives of the people. It was earned through struggles that span generations, through wars, protests, and revolutions that forever shaped the course of human history. Freedom is also not without its responsibility. To be free is to have the power to choose, but with that power comes the duty to act with respect for others. True freedom means understanding that my rights end where another's begin, that my pursuit of happiness must not come at the cost of someone else's dignity or well being. In this sense, freedom is not an individualistic concept, but a collective one, where the liberty of one person is inextricably linked to the liberty of all. Moreover, freedom is not a one-time victory, but a continuous journey. It is not something we simply achieve and then move on from. It must be nurtured, protected, and reaffirmed each day. We live in a world where political systems and social structures constantly evolve, where new threats to freedom emerge and old ones resurface. Whether it's through the rise of authoritarianism, censorship, inequality, or the erosion of civil rights, freedom is constantly at risk. Therefore, it is up to each and every one of us to protect it, whether through active participation in our communities, standing up for those who are marginalized, or simply refusing to accept the status quo when it is unjust. To be free is to be able to stand up and speak out, to question the systems that govern us, and to dream without limits. It means the ability to create, to express, and to love in ways that are unique to our own experiences. Without freedom, we are nothing more than shadows living in a world dictated by others, never knowing the full potential of what we could become. The fight for freedom is the fight for all that is possible in this world. Freedom, in its most powerful and meaningful form, is the right to shape our own destiny, to have control over our lives, And to live in a society that recognizes and respects the intrinsic worth of every individual. Justice is not merely the application of laws, nor is it an abstract ideal confined to philosophy books. Justice is the very bedrock upon which societies stand, is the framework that ensures fairness, equality, and accountability. It is what enables a community to function cohesively, ensuring that individuals are treated with dignity and that their rights are upheld. Justice is what grants people the assurance that when they are wronged, they will not only be heard, but they will receive fair treatment and resolution. In its purest form, justice is a safeguard against inequality and oppression. It ensures that no one is above the law, that power is not used to subjugate the powerless, and that every person has the opportunity to live their life with dignity and respect. Justice serves as the counterbalance to corruption and abuses of power. It is the system of checks and balances that holds the powerful accountable for their actions, ensuring that they do not operate with impunity while the vulnerable are left defenseless. However, justice is not only about punishment, it is also about restoration, healing, and the protection of the most vulnerable. True justice recognizes that fairness is not the same for everyone, as people come from different walks of life and experiences. To be just, a society must acknowledge the systemic inequalities that exist and work tirelessly to address them. This means understanding that certain groups, whether defined by race, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status, have historically faced greater barriers to justice, and those barriers must be dismantled to ensure equity. Justice is also about ensuring that laws are applied impartially. It requires that everyone, regardless of status or power, be subject to the same rules and regulations. Justice demands that there are no special privileges for the wealthy, the influential, or the politically connected. Without impartiality, the very idea of justice becomes meaningless, as it transforms into a tool for the powerful to perpetuate their dominance. Injustice thrives when laws are selectively enforced, when corruption allows a few to escape accountability while others are subjected to harsh punishment for the same offenses. Yet the true strength of justice lies in its ability to evolve with society. What was once considered acceptable may no longer be seen as just in a modern context. As our understanding of human rights expands, so too must the pursuit of justice. Justice must be dynamic, adaptable to new challenges and situations, and must reflect the changing needs and values of a society. This evolution is seen in the ongoing fight for civil rights, gender equality, the eradication of poverty, and the recognition of the rights of marginalized communities. Justice is not a concept that can be realized overnight. It is a long, continuous journey. It requires consistent effort and the courage to confront uncomfortable truths. It is easy to become complacent in the face of a justice system that, while built on the principles of fairness, is often riddled with flaws. But complacency is the enemy of progress. True justice demands vigilance, it demands the pursuit of reforms, and it demands that we ask ourselves hard questions about the fairness of the systems that govern us. In every community, in every society, there are those who are denied justice, whether through discrimination, unequal treatment, or the failure of institutions to deliver on their promises. Justice is the force that calls us to stand up and fight for them, to demand accountability, and to ensure that all people, regardless of their circumstances, have access to the fairness they deserve. Justice is what allows us to believe in the rule of law, in the possibility of redemption, and in the potential of societies to build a world based on equality. Without justice, freedom is fragile and resilience is pointless. It is through justice that we ensure that the promise of freedom is meaningful, that no one is left behind, and that society can move forward with integrity and fairness. Resilience is a force within us that empowers us to rise above adversity, to keep moving forward even when the road is rough, and to transform challenges into opportunities for growth. It is the quality that enables individuals and communities to endure hardships, to adapt to change, and to bounce back stronger than before. But resilience is not simply about surviving, it is about thriving in the face of difficulty, maintaining hope, and refusing to allow setbacks to define us. At its core, resilience is the ability to stay grounded in our values, to hold on to our sense of purpose, and to continue our pursuit of freedom and justice, no matter the obstacles we face. It is the mental and emotional fortitude that enables us to endure personal and collective hardships and to find meaning in even the most trying circumstances. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, the weight of systemic inequality, or the trauma of a nation at war, resilience is the spark that keeps the human spirit alive in the face of suffering. One of the most powerful aspects of resilience is its capacity to transform pain into strength. It is not about denying or ignoring the challenges we face, but rather about confronting them with a mindset that seeks growth and progress. Every setback, every failure, and every hardship becomes an opportunity to learn, to rebuild, and to come back even stronger. This kind of resilience is not built overnight, it is forged through experience, through struggle, and through the continuous effort to rise above the circumstances that seek to hold us down. Resilience is not just an individual trait, but a collective one. Societies too must cultivate resilience if they are to thrive in the face of challenges. Whether it's a natural disaster, an economic downturn, or social unrest, the ability of a community to come together, support one another, and rebuild in the aftermath of hardship is a testament to the resilience of its people. In times of crisis, we often witness acts of selflessness, solidarity, and innovation qualities that are born out of the deep well of resilience within each of us. These moments remind us that while adversity may break us down temporarily, it also has the power to bring us together and strengthen our bonds. However, resilience is not just about bouncing back to the way things were. True resilience involves transformation. It is about using the experience of hardship as a catalyst for positive change. Communities and individuals who are resilient do not simply return to the status quo, they rise with new insights, greater strength, and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. They recognize that resilience is not a passive act of enduring pain, but an active process of transforming obstacles into stepping stones toward a brighter future. In a world that often feels unpredictable and uncertain, resilience is the foundation that enables us to maintain hope. It is the belief that no matter how dark the storm, the sun will rise again. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulty or hardship, but about finding the courage to face them head on, knowing that we are capable of overcoming whatever comes our way. It is the unwavering belief in our own strength and the collective strength of the human spirit. Yet, resilience is also deeply connected to compassion. It is the understanding that we are not alone in our struggles and that our ability to endure is often tied to the support we receive from others. The act of reaching out, of helping one another through tough times, strengthens not only the individual, but the community as a whole. When resilience is nurtured within a society, it fosters a culture of mutual aid, understanding, and empathy. It teaches us that we are interconnected and that, together, we have the strength to face any challenge. Furthermore, resilience requires a willingness to adapt. It demands flexibility, the capacity to reassess our circumstances, and the courage to change direction when necessary. This adaptability is crucial in an ever-changing world. Whether we are faced with a global crisis, a personal loss, or a shift in the social or political landscape, Resilience allows us to remain agile, to learn from our experiences, and to evolve in ways that align with our values and goals. The key to resilience is not clinging to what is comfortable, but embracing the discomfort of change and using it as an opportunity for growth. At its heart, resilience is about hope. It is the belief that no matter the hardship, we have the power to overcome and emerge stronger. It is the inner strength that pushes us forward, even when the world seems to be against us. Resilience fuels our commitment to freedom, to justice, and to the belief that we can build a better tomorrow. Without resilience, we are easily crushed under the weight of adversity. With it, we can rise to any occasion, face any challenge, and create lasting change in the world. Freedom, justice, and resilience are not isolated concepts, they are deeply interconnected and mutually reinforcing. Each one is incomplete without the others. Together, they form a unified force that propels societies forward, shaping a world where individuals and communities are empowered to live with dignity, equality, and hope. To understand the full power of these ideals, it is essential to recognize that they do not exist in silos. Rather, they are intertwined in ways that are vital for the progress and stability of any society. At the core of this interconnectedness is the idea that freedom cannot truly flourish without justice. Freedom without justice is a hollow promise. It's the freedom to act, but not the freedom to do so without fear of oppression or inequality. Imagine a society where individuals have the right to speak freely but are systematically silenced by corruption or discrimination. Such freedom is limited by the lack of justice. Justice is the safeguard that ensures freedom is meaningful and fair for all. Without justice, freedom can become the privilege of a few rather than a universal right. It is justice that provides the structures and systems that protect freedom and guarantee that it is equally accessible to everyone, regardless of their race, gender, or socioeconomic status. Similarly, justice cannot be achieved or sustained without the resilience to fight for it. History is replete with examples of people who have endured great hardship in their quest for justice. Movements for civil rights, gender equality, and environmental protection are built on the resilience of individuals and communities who refuse to accept injustice, no matter how entrenched or powerful the forces of oppression may seem. Resilience is the fuel that keeps the fight for justice alive. Even when progress is slow, setbacks are frequent, and the road ahead is uncertain. Justice requires resilience because achieving it often involves challenging powerful systems, breaking through deeply ingrained societal norms, and confronting forces that resist change. Resilience ensures that the struggle for justice continues, that people persist through difficulties, and that they hold fast to their belief that a better, more just world is possible. Equally, resilience is a quality that is deeply enhanced by both freedom and justice. A society that values freedom and upholds justice provides individuals with the support and opportunities they need to build resilience. When people are free to express themselves, free to pursue their passions and dreams, and free from the chains of oppression, they are more likely to cultivate the inner strength to persevere through life's challenges. Furthermore, when justice is served, and when individuals are treated fairly and equitably, they are more likely to feel supported in their resilience. The assurance that they live in a just society where their rights are protected gives them the confidence to face adversity with courage. The sense of fairness and accountability within a society serves as a pillar upon which individuals can build their emotional and psychological resilience. In practical terms, this interconnectedness means that societies that value freedom, justice, and resilience are stronger and more adaptable in the face of challenges. Take, for example, the role of resilience in the face of a crisis, be it a natural disaster, a social upheaval, or an economic collapse. In societies where justice prevails, the recovery process is more likely to be equitable and inclusive. Systems of justice that hold leaders accountable and protect the rights of vulnerable communities are essential during times of crisis, ensuring that no one is left behind. Meanwhile, the resilience of the people in those societies, empowered by the freedoms they enjoy and the justice they trust, can drive the recovery process forward with determination and unity. On the other hand, when freedom, justice, and resilience are absent, societies face greater instability. When freedom is stifled and justice is denied, people lose faith in the systems that are meant to protect them. In such environments, resilience becomes difficult to maintain as individuals and communities feel powerless and oppressed. Without justice, people are less likely to have the strength to stand up for what is right, and without the assurance of their freedom, they are less likely to find the courage to voice their dissent. In these circumstances, it becomes harder for a society to endure difficulties, adapt to change, or build the strength needed to rise from hardship. The interconnectedness of freedom, justice, and resilience also highlights the need for holistic approaches to social change. Rather than focusing on just one of these values in isolation, we must understand that true progress requires all three. For instance, policies aimed at improving education, healthcare, and economic opportunity should not only promote freedom and justice, but should also encourage resilience. They should provide individuals with the tools to face adversity, to adapt to new circumstances, and to thrive in the face of challenges. Similarly, social movements should not only demand freedom and justice for marginalized communities, but should also work to empower those communities with the resilience they need to navigate the complex systems that may seek to hold them back. In essence, the interconnectedness of freedom, justice, and resilience is the key to building a society that is not only free and fair, but also strong and adaptive. A world where these three forces are in balance is a world where individuals are empowered to pursue their potential, where communities are united in their commitment to fairness, and where the strength to face adversity is built into the very fabric of society. History plays a pivotal role in shaping our understanding of freedom, justice, and resilience. It is not simply a record of events, but a powerful teacher, offering profound lessons about the struggles of those who came before us. The historical journey of human societies is rich with stories of people fighting for their freedom, demanding justice, and demonstrating unparalleled resilience in the face of adversity. These stories form the bedrock upon which we build our own struggles for change, and they provide critical insights into how we might navigate the challenges of our present and future. The history of freedom is filled with struggles that show just how hard won the right to be free truly is. From the abolition of slavery to the suffrage movements that secured voting rights for women, freedom has always been the result of concerted efforts by individuals and communities to challenge oppressive systems. In every part of the world, people have fought for the right to be heard, to express themselves, and to live without fear of persecution. These battles for freedom have not been easy. They have often involved great sacrifices, from the lives lost in revolutionary struggles to the years of imprisonment endured by activists advocating for civil rights. By studying these struggles, we learn that freedom is not an inherent state, but a precious achievement that must be protected at all costs. History teaches that the cost of losing freedom can be steep, and the fight to regain it is never an easy or quick one. Similarly, the historical struggle for justice has been a defining force in shaping the way societies evolve. Justice, like freedom, has often been denied to the marginalized and oppressed. The history of systemic racism, colonialism, gender inequality, and class division shows how deeply ingrained injustices can persist over centuries. Yet, history is also filled with movements and revolutions that fought to dismantle these systems of oppression. From the civil rights movement in the United States to the global efforts against apartheid in South Africa, these historical examples remind us that justice is not a given, it is something that requires constant vigilance and relentless pursuit. These movements teach us that justice is often achieved through both small and large acts of defiance, and that standing up for what is right, even when it seems impossible, can create ripples of change that transform the world. In the context of resilience, history provides us with countless examples of individuals and communities overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges. Whether it is the resilience of enslaved peoples who fought for their freedom, the tenacity of workers fighting for fair wages and better working conditions, or the endurance of communities devastated by war or natural disasters, history shows us that human resilience knows no bounds. The survival of cultures, nations, and individuals through times of extreme hardship demonstrates that resilience is not just about enduring suffering, but about using that suffering as a source of strength. People in history have shown that resilience is rooted in hope, determination, and the belief that a better future is always possible, even in the face of overwhelming odds. One of the key lessons we learn from history is that the struggles for freedom, justice, and resilience are ongoing. These concepts are not static, they evolve as societies progress. The fight for freedom is never fully won, as we see with the continual need to protect civil liberties in the face of surveillance, censorship, and authoritarianism. Justice, too, is a constant battle. Even as we celebrate victories such as the legalization of same sex marriage or the elimination of certain discriminatory practices, we must remain vigilant, as injustice can resurface in new forms, such as economic inequality, police brutality, or voter suppression. Similarly, resilience is not a one-time trait but a quality that must be continually nurtured. The ability to adapt and overcome challenges is shaped by ongoing collective efforts to create supportive, empowering communities and institutions. The historical examples of freedom, justice, and resilience serve as both inspiration and a call to action. They remind us that while the road to progress is long and fraught with obstacles, it is a road worth traveling. The individuals who fought for freedom, who demanded justice, and who demonstrated resilience in the face of adversity did so with the belief that future generations would be able to stand on their shoulders. Today, we are the beneficiaries of their struggles, but we are also the stewards of their legacy. It is now our responsibility to continue the work they started, to ensure that freedom is safeguarded, justice is upheld, and resilience is built into the fabric of society. Furthermore, history teaches that change is possible, even in the most seemingly entrenched systems. The resistance to change often comes from those who benefit from the status quo, who fear the loss of power, privilege, or control. But history shows that when people come together united by the common cause of freedom, justice, and resilience, they can overcome even the most oppressive regimes. Whether through peaceful protest, legal challenges, or grassroots mobilization, change has always been possible when individuals and communities refuse to accept injustice. History also teaches us that while the road to change is difficult, the progress made in the face of adversity can be deeply transformative, not just for the individuals involved, but for the entire world. In many ways, the struggles for freedom, justice, and resilience are cyclical. The issues we face today often mirror the challenges of the past, albeit with new faces, new tactics, and new forms of resistance. By studying history, we can learn from both the successes and the failures of previous generations, avoiding the mistakes of the past and drawing inspiration from their triumphs. History provides the wisdom needed to navigate the present, the resilience to overcome the challenges of today, and the vision to create a more just and free world tomorrow. While movements, Institutions and collective efforts play vital roles in advancing freedom, justice, and resilience. It is the individual who often acts as the catalyst for change. Throughout history, it is individuals who have led revolutions, sparked social movements, and challenged the status quo. The role of the individual in these grand struggles cannot be overstated. Every transformative change begins with one person daring to question, to resist, and to stand up for what is right. Individuals, driven by personal commitment, ignite the collective action that shapes the course of history. Freedom, in its deepest sense, is achieved and protected by individuals who take a stand against oppressive systems. While laws and policies may establish certain freedoms, it is individuals who challenge these laws when they are unjust. Every struggle for freedom, whether political, civil, or personal, has been fueled by individuals who believe in the inherent dignity and rights of all human beings. Take, for instance, the figure of Nelson Mandela, whose unwavering commitment to racial equality and his tireless fight against apartheid in South Africa became a beacon of hope for millions. Mandela's personal resilience, his belief in justice, and his dedication to the freedom of his people were the foundations upon which the struggle for liberation was built. He could not have achieved the monumental success he did alone, but his personal sacrifice and commitment sparked a movement that inspired global change. Similarly, justice is not simply a collective force, it is often the result of one person speaking out, challenging norms, or taking action against injustice. Rosa Parks, by refusing to give up her seat on a segregated bus, became an iconic figure in the American civil rights movement. Her single act of defiance ignited a wave of activism that ultimately led to significant legal and social changes. It was her individual act of courage, done in the face of personal risk, that showed the power of one person's ability to stand against systemic injustice. Her story reminds us that the pursuit of justice begins with the decisions of individuals who choose not to accept the status quo, but instead demand that society live up to its highest ideals. Individuals, particularly in the face of injustice, not only serve as examples of moral clarity, but also catalyze the resilience of the collective. Resilience, at its core, is a quality that grows from the courage of individuals who, despite their challenges, find ways to rebuild, adapt, and persevere. Resilient individuals are often those who have experienced hardship, yet refuse to let it define them. They are the ones who find ways to adapt to adversity and continue striving for a better future, not just for themselves, but for others as well. Consider figures like Malala Yousafzai, whose resilience in the face of violence and oppression, particularly regarding the right of girls to receive an education, has touched the hearts of millions around the world. After surviving an assassination attempt, Malala not only became a global symbol of resilience, but also a leader who fought for the rights of girls to education, thereby creating ripples of change that continue to resonate today. While individuals are critical in the pursuit of freedom, justice, and resilience, it is important to recognize that the power of an individual's commitment lies not in isolation, but in its ability to inspire others. The ripple effect of one person's action can create waves of change. This is the power of the individual within the collective, a concept that underscores how the courage and dedication of a single person can mobilize entire communities. It is through this dynamic that the collective will, built upon the actions of individuals, becomes unstoppable. The role of individuals in advancing freedom, justice, and resilience is also deeply tied to the responsibility they bear in a society. While individual actions can be catalysts for societal change, they also serve as a reminder of the ongoing need for personal accountability in maintaining the values of freedom and justice. Every person has the capacity to contribute to the larger movement for change, whether through direct action, advocacy, or simply living out the principles of justice and equality in their everyday lives. The individual does not need to be a global icon to have an impact. Small daily actions speaking out against injustice, supporting marginalized communities, or simply challenging biased thoughts can contribute to a larger culture of freedom and justice. Moreover, in our increasingly interconnected world, individuals have more influence than ever. Social media platforms, blogs, podcasts, and other forms of communication allow one person to reach millions. This gives individuals unparalleled opportunities to spread ideas, raise awareness, and rally others to a cause. The ability to galvanize people to take collective action, to change perceptions, and to challenge harmful systems of power is now more accessible than ever. The stories of individuals fighting for freedom, justice, and resilience can be amplified and spread across the globe in real time. This democratization of influence means that anyone, anywhere, can be a part of the fight for a better world. In some cases, individuals may find themselves in positions of power where they can directly influence policies and systems. Politicians, leaders, and activists, whether elected or appointed, can play significant roles in shaping societal values, advocating for laws that protect freedom and justice, and fostering resilience through policies that support vulnerable populations. But even in these positions, it is the individual's commitment to the well-being of all that determines the impact they can have. Leaders who are truly invested in justice and freedom recognize the importance of uplifting others, ensuring that their power is used not for personal gain, but for the collective good of society. Lastly, individuals are crucial in the process of reconciliation and healing after periods of injustice, oppression, or conflict. In post-conflict societies, individuals often serve as the bridge between divisions, using their personal experiences and stories to promote understanding, unity, and peace. Their resilience in the face of trauma can provide hope and direction for entire communities, showing that healing is possible and that justice can still be achieved. In this sense, individuals contribute not only to the struggle for justice, but also to the rebuilding of communities torn apart by conflict and inequality. In conclusion, individuals are the heartbeat of movements for freedom, justice, and resilience. While collective efforts are essential, it is the courage, commitment, and action of individuals that set the course for change. By standing up for what is right, challenging injustice, and demonstrating resilience, each individual contributes to the creation of a more just, free, and resilient world. The power of the individual is a reminder that, no matter our position in society, we each have the capacity to influence the world around us, shaping the future one action at a time. As we look toward the future, the path forward requires a vision, a collective dream of a world where freedom, justice, and resilience are not ideals to strive for, but the very foundations upon which society is built. This vision is not merely theoretical, it is a call to action, a roadmap for creating a future that reflects the values we hold dear. The challenges we face are immense, from the persistence of inequality to the threats posed by climate change and political instability. However, the pursuit of a future grounded in freedom, justice, and resilience offers us hope, guiding us toward a world that not only survives but thrives in the face of adversity. First and foremost, the path forward begins with a renewed commitment to freedom for all. In the modern world, freedom is often taken for granted, yet there are still many individuals and communities whose freedoms are curtailed by oppressive systems, discriminatory practices, and unequal access to opportunities. For marginalized groups, freedom remains a distant dream. To build a future based on freedom, we must ensure that every person, regardless of their background, identity, or status, has the right to live without fear, to express their ideas, and to determine the course of their own life. This requires not only legal frameworks that protect civil liberties, but also a cultural shift that recognizes and uplifts the voices of those who have historically been silenced. To move forward, we must dismantle the structures of oppression and discrimination that limit freedom. This includes addressing issues such as racial inequality, gender based violence, economic disparity, and restrictions on political expression. The fight for freedom today involves recognizing the intersectional nature of oppression, understanding that systems of inequality affect people in different ways, and ensuring that freedom is accessible to all. The path forward is one of inclusivity and empowerment, where the voices of the oppressed are heard, their rights protected, and their futures shaped by their own hands. Equally important is the commitment to justice, which must be central to our vision for the future. Justice is not a one-time achievement, it is a continuous process, an evolving commitment to fairness, equality, and the protection of human rights. The pursuit of justice requires us to confront the legacies of historical wrongs, such as colonialism, slavery, and genocide, while also addressing the injustices of the present. This includes tackling systemic racism, economic inequality, environmental destruction, and violations of human rights. Justice demands accountability for those who perpetuate harm, as well as reparative measures for those who have been wronged. Building a future based on justice means creating legal systems that are fair and impartial, where the rule of law protects the rights of all people, and where those who are disadvantaged have access to justice. It means dismantling systems of privilege and creating equal opportunities for education, employment, healthcare, and political participation. Justice also requires the creation of restorative frameworks that allow individuals and communities to heal from past wounds, to repair relationships, and to rebuild trust. Justice is not simply about retribution, it is about healing, reconciliation, and ensuring that everyone, regardless of their circumstances, has access to the tools they need to thrive. In parallel, the path forward requires cultivating resilience not just in individuals, but in communities, institutions, and entire nations. Resilience is the capacity to adapt to adversity, to bounce back from challenges, and to maintain hope in the face of uncertainty. It is the quality that allows us to keep moving forward, even when the future seems bleak. As we face global challenges such as climate change, pandemics, political polarization, and economic instability, resilience is what will enable us to endure and emerge stronger. But resilience is not simply about surviving, it is about thriving, about learning from our struggles, and using them to create a better, more just world. To build resilience in the future, we must prioritize social support systems that help individuals and communities recover from hardships. This means investing in mental health services, education, and social safety nets that provide a foundation for people to withstand the difficulties of life. It also means fostering a culture of collaboration and mutual aid, where people support each other and work together to overcome collective challenges. Resilience is strengthened by strong, interconnected communities that come together to share resources, provide emotional support, and build systems of collective care. In this way, resilience becomes a shared value, one that transcends individual survival and becomes a community-wide commitment to creating a future that is both sustainable and equitable. As we build this future, education will play a critical role in shaping the path forward. Education is the key to unlocking freedom, justice, and resilience, as it equips individuals with the knowledge, skills, and critical thinking abilities needed to challenge oppressive systems and create positive change. In the future we envision, Education must be accessible to all, regardless of socioeconomic status, geographic location, or background. It must promote not only academic achievement, but also emotional intelligence, empathy, and social responsibility. By teaching the values of freedom, justice, and resilience in schools and universities, we can empower future generations to continue the work that we are doing today. Additionally, the path forward requires a global perspective. The challenges we face are not confined to individual nations or communities, they are global in scope. Climate change, economic inequality, political instability, and human rights abuses all transcend borders and require international cooperation. A future based on freedom, justice, and resilience will need to embrace the interconnectedness of the world, understanding that the well being of one nation is tied to the well being of others. This means advocating for global policies that address these issues, from climate action to refugee rights, and working to ensure that no nation, no community, and no individual is left behind in the pursuit of a more equitable world. At the same time, individual and collective responsibility must be emphasized. Everyone, regardless of their position or privilege, has a role to play in creating the future we want to see. From grassroots activists to world leaders, from educators to artists, each person can contribute to the work of advancing freedom, justice, and resilience. Change begins at the individual level, with each person taking responsibility for their actions and the impact they have on others. But it also requires collective action, as movements and communities come together to advocate for policies, challenge injustice, and demand accountability from those in power. Ultimately, building a future based on freedom, justice, and resilience is not just about solving current problems, it is about laying the foundation for a better world, one where the values we hold dear are upheld and strengthened for future generations. This path forward requires hope, vision, and commitment, a belief that a world built on these principles is not only possible but necessary. It is a world where people are free to live their lives with dignity and respect, where justice prevails in every corner of society, and where resilience is the driving force that keeps us moving forward, no matter the obstacles we face. As we conclude, it is important to remember that the journey toward a world founded on freedom, justice, and resilience is a collective one. While the path may be long and the obstacles formidable, we are not alone in this fight. Each of us, in our own way, has the power to contribute to the vision we hold for the future. The actions we take today, whether large or small, are the building blocks of the world that will exist tomorrow. Freedom, justice, and resilience are not abstract ideals, they are the principles that, when upheld, empower individuals, strengthen communities, and uplift societies. But these values do not thrive on their own. They require our constant care, our commitment, and our collective action. They require the courage to challenge injustice, the perseverance to overcome adversity, and the compassion to ensure that no one is left behind. We have the power right now to shape the world we want to live in. By standing together, united by the ideals of freedom, justice, and resilience, we can create a future where these values are not just aspirations but living realities. It is up to each and every one of us to contribute to that future. Let us rise to the occasion, let us act with purpose, and let us ensure that the generations to come inherit a world where freedom is cherished, justice is upheld, and resilience is the driving force of all humanity. The time to act is now. Together we can build a better tomorrow.